So my name is Shivani. I'm a teacher. Been teaching special ed for like 14 years now. Fell into it, but kind of found my passion in it too. So initially I actually reached out for couples counseling with my husband. We were going through a pretty rough patch and we'd kind of gone through like these waves of ups and downs, and it got to the point where I was like, if we don't do this now, I don't think we're going to continue together. We were only on one income at the time, and so a lot of other places we just couldn't afford to go to, but we really needed the help, and so that's kind of our primary reason. We were really young when we got married, and so we kind of grew up together, but it seemed like we were starting to like grow apart. It was just like a lot of silence at home, and like both of us feeling like we were walking on eggshells and stuff like that, but not knowing how to correct we would just fall into this pattern every time we argued, and it would just become like explosive and stuff, but we didn't know how to fight otherwise, and so it was just always really, really bad. And then when my friend suggested, like I remembered her talking about it, so I thought like, okay, this is kind of something else we try before we just completely call it quits. And if we, like, I won't have that regret later of I could have done something else, or maybe I should have tried that first. I was just always on edge. I was always snappy, super stressed out like all the time. It was overflowing at work. It was overflowing in like my relationships with my friends. I didn't want to do anything. I would just go to work and then just come home and just want to isolate. I come from a culture where counseling is not really what you do, and you kind of like keep your problems private and you don't talk about them with others. So I did have that, and I think I learned about that a lot more, how much I had that part of it, at least when I started to talk with my counselor. There was a lot of emphasis on, especially like watching my parents and their relationship, how much we kept private the things that were happening like behind closed doors. And we'd go out to say like family events or gatherings with friends and just pretend like everything was fine. And I remember that just feeling like so suffocating. I kind of started to notice that I was also doing that, especially with my family, of like not sharing the things that were happening and how hard it was becoming. Reached out and thought like there's got to be a better way than what we're currently doing. One of the biggest things definitely was being matched with the counselor that I was matched with. She made us feel so comfortable, and she was so open and honest, but also very supportive. And I felt like a very tough love from her sometimes for either of us. Like she wasn't partial to me or my husband. She would tell us both where we needed to be corrected or like where we needed to kind of work on ourselves. But she was also very understanding of the both of us. She made us feel so comfortable that I ended up doing a lot of one-on-one counseling with her instead. And I realized that there was just a lot of stuff that I had to unpack, and lots of my own childhood patterns and like my own upbringing that I was bringing into my relationship. So it was way easier to point the finger and say like my husband was the problem. But then working with her, I realized that I had a whole bunch of stuff that I was bringing too that was also super unhealthy. And she would just listen, but also give me the advice and the tools that I needed, and like help me understand where my partner was also coming from, so that I could have that kind of perspective, because I think that was hard for me too, to just like, he's doing this, he's doing this, he's doing this, but she's like, okay, but what about this that you're bringing? And I was like, oh no, right? Like, oh, it's also me. So my husband and I actually really like each other again, which was wonderful. We've now been married for 11 and a half years, and we have just scheduled a vow renewal because we're now in a place where we've reached like a different level of understanding with each other, and we're still using like all of the tools and strategies Nicole taught us. And I just have such a different understanding of him and where he's coming from based off of what I know of his upbringing too now. And I know that it's not like an attack necessarily on me because of all the things that I had learned as a kid and like all the things that I attached my value to. So now if we have an argument, I know that that's not this catastrophic end of the world kind of a thing. It's just right now we're really mad, and so we need space, and that's okay. We're in a place now where we can see like our future again and are planning for the future of like, in a couple of years we'll do this and we'll do that, which we kind of stopped doing because we just didn't see that anymore. Individually, I just feel like I know myself so much better, and I didn't know myself before. And I'm really grateful for that, because I think no matter what happens now with the relationship, I've learned that I will still be okay regardless of what happens going forward in any kind of area of my life, that I'm so solid in myself now that like I'll be fine. I feel like counseling and reaching out has definitely helped strengthen our relationship.